speaking. But the reason I was so good in Atlanta was mostly because of the next step in the formula, which is the next letter is N. Will you say this after me? New friends. Say it again. New friends. The first thing I did after winning the state competition, I got myself away from negative people. How many know people, some people, will try to bring you down if they see you climbing up a little bit? I'm telling you, man, some people are like crabs in a bucket. They will try to pull you down, and the first thing you need to do when you begin to implement your plan, you've committed to enduring the pain of implementing that plan, you need to find yourself hanging around some new friends. Get away from anybody who has anything negative to say about your talents and your goals and dreams. Now listen, if somebody's telling you you're probably talented in an area other than singing, you probably need to listen to it at least a little bit and ask somebody else. Don't just run, don't listen to just one person. But if the majority of people are saying you're probably talented in another area other than singing, you probably should listen to them. But get away from people who are trying to tear you down. And listen, as I began to move through the competition, I began to surround myself with people who had been to the higher levels of the competition. I wanted to get around people who knew what competition was about, people who knew what a winning speech sounded like and looked like and what it contained. I wanted to hang around those people and glean insight from them, glean wisdom from them. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 24 says this: there are friends who destroy each other, but a real friend sticks closer than a brother. So I ask you today, who are your friends? And what are they doing for you? I surrounded myself. I was calling a lot of the former world champions, gave me their time freely. And I would send them my speech and they would critique it. And you know what else I did? I spent a lot of time watching a DVD, 20 years of world championship speeches. I think it was from like 1986 to 2006. I watched that DVD over and over and over again, late at night, early in the morning, watching it over and over again. And by the time I had watched that video enough, I knew what a championship speech was. I knew what a championship speech made you want to think, feel, say, or do after hearing that speech. Gain insight from people who had been there before. And those are the people that I wanted to hang around. If I, one more time, hear somebody tell me, when I first told a family member, a senior family member, that I wanted to be a paid singer, you know what she told me? Keep your day job, son, because singing won't pay the bills. Which, that's true, but how about encourage me first? How about encourage me first? Son, you're a good singer. I believe you can make some money, but don't trust singing alone to pay your bills. That would have been a more accurate and more encouraging statement. Do y'all agree with that? I could have received that with joy. Singing don't pay the bills. I didn't receive that with joy. I didn't, because for some reason, the first thing I thought about was Elvis Presley, who's been dead for umpteen years, and his foundation last year made $70 million. Do you think he paying a few bills with his singing? And I'm just the kind of crazy person that think that if one person can do it, I can do it. Amen. I'm just crazy like that. Man, Donnie, do you know how many people broke the 4-minute mile barrier after Roger Bannister did it in 1954? High school students was doing it within 90 days. All they needed to see is one person do it, and they believed it could be done. They believed it could be done after they saw one person do it. That's why you need to change your friends. You need to change your circle of friends. You need to be hanging around people who have goals and dreams of their own that they're pursuing, people who are relentless and will never be knocked down by the big right hand of life, but they're going to get back up. They're going to slap life across the face and say, it ain't over until I win. Those are people you need to hang around. And the only thing they needed to know was that you wouldn't die doing it. Most people wouldn't try to push themselves that hard on a 4-minute mile because they thought your heart rate couldn't sustain that and your heart would explode. Most of Roger Bannister's friends were doctors because he was a doctor. And they said, man, listen, if you get your heart rate up this far, it can only sustain this pace at 30 seconds before it explodes. But for some reason, he was willing to push himself past the point of pain. And 3 minutes and 59.4 seconds later, he was holding the trophy and a world record. It didn't last long. People broke it soon after that because they wanted to see one person do it. And they said, if he can do it, I can do it. Get away from people who are not encouraging you towards your dream. Anybody who's not telling you that you can do it, that you can make it, get away from those people. Find some new friends. Stay away from the dream smashers. Oh, they will rip your guts out. They'll say some things. Man, after winning the semifinals, I stopped doing group evaluations. I would take the speech that I had, and I would go to different Toastmasters clubs, and I'd speak at Rotary and other kind of places, but most of the pain came from Toastmasters, other Toastmasters. I'd go to a certain club, and man, I declare, some people just get up and say something they just wanted to hear themselves say. They just wanted to say something. Nothing encouraging. Don't tell me about a part of my speech that you didn't like without offering a suggestion. This part wasn't really good. It made me kind of feel like that, but maybe if you could say it like this instead of that. That helps me. You see, you can bring me down, but you build me back up at the same time by offering a solution. Remember one guy said, Henry, you know, I've heard a lot of speakers, they got that really fast, inspirational, high-paced kind of speech, but you know what? Until you find out who you are, you'll just continue to be a parrot. And you just continue to sound like Les Brown. If looks could kill Reb, he would have dropped dead. But you know what? That was the last time I put myself in front of him. I don't need anybody to rip my guts out. I can do that myself. Shoot, man. You know how bad I wanted to succeed? You know how bad I had to fight against laziness and procrastination and fight all those things off? That was gut-wrenching enough by itself. And to be able to, oh, Lord, I can't even feel that again. But y'all don't even understand the pain that I felt when my wife had to go to work again after 13 and a half years of being a stay-at-home mom. And she didn't mean anything when she said this. She was just talking out of pain because it was painful for her. But she looked at me and we were talking about it, how we're going to pay the bills and that she's got to get a job and she was getting ready to start the job. And she looked at me and she said, Henry, I feel like you took me away from my kids. That hurt. That hurt. But I said, baby, I understand how you feel. Number one, I appreciate you being willing to help out and to help me through this transition. But I said, baby, just give me a certain amount of time, and it won't be long before it'll pay off. I promise you, because I will not quit until it pays off. Find yourself hanging around people who will encourage you, folks. Once you have a plan, once you have decided to endure the pain, my friend, you had better find some new friends. And that takes us to the next step in the H.E.N.R.Y formula. The next letter is R. Will you say this after me? Read. Say it again. Read. So read what? Well, a good thing to read is to read about people who have similar talents. Read about people who are being successful in the area that you think you want to go into. Let me give you just a few of the books that I began to read concerning how to own a business, how to improve as a speaker, and how to understand how to deal with wealth, deal with money. One of the books that I began to read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, highly recommended. The other book was The E-Myth. The E for entrepreneur. It talks about some of the misconceptions and ideas that people have about what it's like to run